An important help on the pre-sectorization can be provided by the local authorities. Local authorities are in general the owner of most of the rich information available in a certain area, meaning they have the age of building, they have the management of the civil registry, and in general they have the best knowledge of the territory. In this example, we can see the city of Pisa map reporting the age of building. And this is a data that is, available and part of some plan in the city of Pisa. But in this step, in the following step, we'll see how we can use this and other type of information to make a pre-sectorization. So, starting from this type of information, we can add another type of information, the information reported in the civil registry of the city. This is something that every city has, but not all the city has done the extraction and the geocoding of this information. So we did in a test for one part of the city, and we have done the geocoding of the residents. So taking the list of the residents, is possible to move them on a map through a GIS software. But what is very important to have this chance is to have the unique value for the road. So it has to be a registry containing the unique value for the road, so to make the geocoding process. In this way, so it's possible to report on the map the single resident of the city, and so have on the map the representation of where the person is living, so where the single person has his residence address. And having this information available on the map, we have also additional information of the single citizen, meaning we have the age, we have the family ID, and other very useful information. But this step is just the representation on the map of the citizen, something that with the GIS software almost every city can do, starting from the civil registry information. The following step is to define and start thinking to defining the number of residents in a certain area. This is something quite easy because having a GIS software, we can make a selection on a certain block and having both the number of residents and the number of buildings. So with the GIS software, having reported on the map the citizen, so the residents, I can just with few clicks extract the information of number of buildings that are present in the area and number of residents. So in this example, if we make the extraction of the citizen that are into this block, we can have immediately the extraction of this spatial query, and to get as a result that in that block are present 57 residents. So this is an information that is very useful and can provide us the first block to start thinking to the sectorization. This process has been done in a, let's say, manual way, so probably is the best way to make the pre-sectorization if we have this type of information and having the time and having the goal to provide and to make this analysis, so to get the best pre-sectorization. So the pre-sectorization for sure has to follow some main and gold rule, meaning to avoid cutting physical elements as, for example, the sea or river and main road, and so to try having the single sector with the building inside without having the sector splitted by main road and other physical elements. So in this example, we have extracted from the GIS software for each of this block, the number of building into each block, and the number of house number. We have reported also house number because at the beginning of the BELICE project, we did a double analysis checking which was the best parameter to follow, if it was the number of building or the house number. But at the end, we came to the result that the number of building was the best parameter to follow. In this example, on the top left of the map, in fact, you can see that if we have an industrial area, for example, we can have just few house number, but many buildings. So to follow just the house number can be not the best way to follow to define a pre-sectorization of a certain area. So in this map, you can see both the parameter, but the one that we are going to follow will be the number of buildings. The number of buildings that you can see on this map is a little bit more than the number we wanted to reach, that is around 50 buildings, because the GIS map are reported as polygon, also some small annex of buildings. So some of the polygon are not actual building, and for this reason we have increased a little bit the number of buildings to select. On the sector that we just defined, following the number of buildings, we have also added the building period. So on this map, you see with the blue line and the blue polygon the sector that we just defined, and we have changed the color of the building based on the building period. So in this way, we can have a very rough indication of the vulnerability, but for sure is a good starting point, knowing that some buildings are almost new, and so built with the latest construction rule, and some other are very old, so probably with a higher vulnerability in case of earthquake. To the polygon that we just defined based on the number of buildings, then we have added also the residence. In this case, you don't see anymore the single dot of the single resident, but we have make a group, a selection by address, so to represent with a circle with different size the number of people that are resident in that building. So we have reported on house number the circle that is with the proportional diameter compared to the number of residents. In this way, you have an immediate perception of the density of population for each building. For sure, is something that is just a reference, because, for example, in the industrial area, you don't see any residents, because for sure, being an industrial area, there are no residents. But for the residential area in general, this is for sure an information that is very important, because let us know immediately where are the buildings with more residents inside. Mixing so the two information, what we can see is a global map with the sector that are manually done, tuned around the 50 building reference number, and with the overimpressed the number of residents and the age of building. So basically we have the sector, the vulnerability, and the number of people. So for sure, when we need to make a priority and define a priority in the single sector, the sector where we'll have the higher density of residents and the higher vulnerability can be taken into consideration as one sector with higher priority. Another important part that we wanted to share is the concept of sharing plan and strategic info. because we think that keeping a plan in a paper version closed into an office is absolutely useless for the rescuer that should come to help a certain area. So we think that part of the plan, the most important information of the plan, the first, the primary and the strategic info, should be put into a shared map or in a shared repository, easily accessible from the rescuer, so that some of the most important part of the plan, the most strategic info of the plan, can be immediately evaluated and to the rescuer, so to let them get an overview of the area, knowing the most important information. That's something extremely easy to do. I mean, we have lots of free and shared platforms, so to share this data on a shared platform can be a way to transmit the core, the most important part of the plan to someone that has to come into our territory to help us. Another important point regarding this is how and what type of background map to use on the plan. And in that case, we already started many years ago to use the OpenStreetMap community and the OpenStreetMap map layer as a background for our emergency plan map. In this way, it's also possible to enrich the OpenStreetMap data with local and additional point information, so to share and to let everyone immediately get some information that are part of the OpenStreetMap plan. So basically, the concept can be to use, for example, Google Maps for some type of information, very specific, but on the other side, put as much information as possible on the OpenStreetMap community, on the OpenStreetMap layer. For example, where are the helipad, where are the hospital, where are the bridge, and so on. So to give the OpenStreetMap community this type of information and letting the community the possibility to extract this type of information can be very useful, because one of the important point of the OpenStreetMap data is that once the data is part of the OpenStreetMap layer, the data can be downloaded, pre-downloaded, and on a single laptop or tablet device. And in that case, the rescuers that are coming, that are going in a certain area, they can have in an offline mode the OpenStreetMap full set of information with all the vector data available, and to see and to check the detail of the single information, even if they are off-grid without any internet connection. So that part of data is for sure something that is and has to be part of the rescuer information that are on the field, even if the internet connection is not available. Then for sure, if the internet connection is available, lots of other information can be immediately downloaded from different places. But to have at least a detailed map with updated information of a certain area, and having this information downloaded before starting to go in the affected area, that for sure can be a very important and an additional resource for the rescuer. Thank you.